What if I told you that Roman Reigns isn't just dominating WWE, but he's secretly the most powerful being in the entire galaxy? And what if everything you've seen on Friday Night SmackDown has been preparing us for the biggest revelation in wrestling history? Stay locked in, because in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to blow your mind with evidence that's been hiding in plain sight, show you footage that WWE tried to cover up, and reveal why Roman's spear might actually be powered by cosmic energy that defies the laws of physics. But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered why Roman Reigns has this otherworldly presence that no other wrestler can match? Why his entrance music gives you chills that seem to resonate from somewhere deep in space? Why his recovery from leukemia seemed almost supernatural? Well, buckle up, because we're about to dive into the most insane crossover story that connects professional wrestling to intergalactic warfare. And by the end of this video, you'll never look at the tribal chief the same way again. Picture this exact scenario. It's a regular Friday Night SmackDown. Roman Reigns is in the middle of his usual tribal chief business, acknowledging the crowd with that signature point and nod, when suddenly, something unprecedented happens. The arena lights don't just dim for dramatic effect. They flicker in a pattern that astrophysicists would later identify as matching the electromagnetic signature of a distant galaxy. The Titantron starts displaying what the production team initially thought was a technical malfunction, but upon closer inspection, revealed itself to be star maps and cosmic coordinates that shouldn't exist in any earthly database. The crowd thinks it's another elaborate entrance setup, because let's face it, WWE has pulled some incredible production stunts before. But here's what's chilling. Roman's face shows genuine confusion. This isn't scripted. This isn't part of the show. For the first time in years, the tribal chief looks genuinely surprised, and if you know Roman Reigns, you know that man is never caught off guard. His eyes dart upward, scanning the arena ceiling as if he's searching for something, or someone, that the cameras can't capture. Then it happens. A beam of light, unlike anything WWE's lighting rig could produce, engulfs the entire ring. It's not the typical spotlight or pyrotechnic effect. This light seems to bend reality around it, creating visual distortions that make the ring ropes appear to ripple like water. The audience falls silent, not the manufactured quiet of a scripted moment, but the genuine hush of 20,000 people witnessing something that shouldn't be possible. When the light fades, Roman is still standing in the center of the ring, but something fundamental has changed. His posture is different, more regal, more commanding, as if he's suddenly aware of a power he never knew he possessed. The tribal patterns on his gear seem to shimmer with an inner light, and when he raises his arm to acknowledge the crowd, there's a brief moment where his hand appears to distort the air around it, like heat waves rising from summer asphalt. But here's where it gets really interesting, and this is where WWE's cover-up begins. The official broadcast cuts to commercial immediately after this incident, but several fans captured the moment on their phones. These videos, which WWE has been systematically removing from social media platforms, show something that defies explanation. In those phone recordings, you can see Roman's eyes briefly glow with the same light that engulfed the ring, and when he speaks into his microphone, his voice carries harmonics that human vocal cords shouldn't be able to produce. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds like science fiction mixed with wrestling fantasy. And you know what? You're absolutely right to be skeptical. That's exactly what I thought when I first started investigating this story. But here's the thing, we're in this together now. You clicked on this video because something about Roman Reigns has always felt different to you, hasn't it? That inexplicable presence, that aura of power that seems to extend beyond normal wrestling charisma. You felt it too, haven't you? That moment during his entrance when the entire arena seems to hold its breath, when even his biggest critics find themselves momentarily mesmerized by his presence. You've wondered why his spear looks more devastating than anyone else's, why his Superman punch seems to generate more force than physics should allow. You're here because you've sensed that there's more to Roman Reigns than meets the eye, and you want answers? Well, you're about to get them, and they're going to challenge everything you thought you knew about professional wrestling, about the nature of entertainment, and about the possibility that our universe is far more connected than we ever imagined. We're going on this journey together, and by the end, you'll have exclusive knowledge that most wrestling fans will never discover. But let's rewind and examine the evidence that's been hiding in plain sight for over a decade. See, the thing about Roman Reigns is that his character has always had this larger-than-life quality that transcends normal wrestling storytelling. The man literally calls himself the Tribal Chief, leads a faction called the Bloodline, and has this aura that suggests he's operating on a different level than everyone else. What if that wasn't just character work? What if there was something genuinely cosmic about Roman that WWE has been subtly hinting at all along? Think about it logically for a moment, and really consider the implications of what I'm about to tell you. How does someone dominate professional wrestling for over a decade with such unwavering consistency? How does someone recover from leukemia, a disease that has ended countless careers and lives, and come back not just healthy, but stronger and more dominant than ever before? How does someone maintain that level of presence and power for so long without any apparent decline in their abilities? The answer might be simpler and more extraordinary than we think. Roman Reigns isn't from Earth. He's been preparing us, conditioning us for something much bigger than championship reigns and wrestling storylines. Every match, every promo, every moment of dominance has been part of an elaborate preparation process for a revelation that would fundamentally change how we understand entertainment, competition, and our place in the universe. Let's examine the evidence systematically, piece by piece, because once you see these connections, you can't unsee them. First, consider his entrance music. That distinctive sound isn't just produced by WWE's music team using standard audio equipment. If you run a spectral analysis of Roman's entrance theme, and yes, I actually did this, you'll discover that it contains frequency patterns that don't match any known musical instruments or electronic synthesizers. The bass frequencies in his music resonate at exactly 432 hertzes, which ancient civilizations believed was the frequency of the universe itself. But more intriguingly, there are ultrasonic elements in his entrance music that human ears can't consciously detect, but that create a physiological response in listeners. These frequencies trigger the release of specific neurotransmitters that create feelings of awe and submission, the same response that would be evolutionarily advantageous when encountering a superior being. The tribal patterns on his gear aren't just aesthetic choices made by WWE's costume department. When you map these patterns using astronomical software, they correspond exactly to star charts showing the location of various stellar formations in the Andromeda Galaxy. Specifically, they point to a region of space that astronomers have recently identified as containing an unusually high concentration of potentially habitable planets. But here's where it gets really mind-blowing, and this is information that took me months of research to uncover. The Superman punch isn't just a signature move that looks cool and gets crowd reactions. It's Roman channeling gravitational forces from multiple celestial bodies simultaneously, and I can prove it. When you analyze slow-motion footage of Roman executing his Superman punch, there are several anomalies that become apparent once you know what to look for. First, watch his eyes during the setup. Roman doesn't just look at his opponent. His gaze moves in a specific pattern that matches the orbital mechanics of our solar system. He's literally calculating the gravitational influence of multiple planets to determine the optimal moment for maximum impact. The way he cocks his fist back isn't just for dramatic effect. He's actually aligning his body with gravitational field lines that are invisible to normal human perception. When he launches into the punch, high-speed cameras capture something extraordinary. For approximately 0.3 seconds, Roman's fist appears to distort the space around it, creating a visual effect similar to gravitational lensing, the same phenomenon that occurs around black holes and other massive celestial objects. The crowd thinks they're seeing wrestling athleticism, but they're actually witnessing advanced astrophysics in action. I had this footage analyzed by a physicist at MIT who specializes in gravitational wave detection, and his response was both fascinating and terrifying. He confirmed that the visual distortions around Roman's fist are consistent with localized gravitational field manipulation, but he also said that generating such effects would require technology that's centuries beyond our current scientific understanding. But the Superman punch is nothing compared to what happens when Roman delivers his spear And this is where the story takes a turn that will fundamentally change how you view professional wrestling forever. That spear, that devastating finishing move that's ended countless careers and title reigns, is powered by something that WWE commentary has never been able to properly explain, and now you're about to discover why. When Roman charges across the ring, he's not just using momentum and body weight like every other wrestler who's ever attempted a spear tackle. He's temporarily altering the space-time continuum around his body, creating a localized gravity well that makes his impact exponentially more devastating than anything humanly possible. The setup for Roman's spear follows a pattern that's remained consistent throughout his entire career, but it's not a pattern based on wrestling psychology or dramatic timing. It's based on cosmic mechanics that most humans couldn't comprehend, even if they were explained in detail. When Roman pounds his fist on the mat, he's not just building crowd anticipation, he's synchronizing his biorhythm with the rotational frequency of Earth itself. The charging motion isn't random or instinctive. Roman's path across the ring follows a trajectory that accounts for the Coriolis effect, the gravitational influence of the moon, and the electromagnetic field generated by Earth's core. To an untrained observer, it looks like a simple tackle. To someone who understands advanced physics, it's a demonstration of cosmic awareness that shouldn't be possible for any terrestrial being. When impact occurs, several things happen simultaneously that defy conventional explanation. First, there's always a brief flash of light at the moment of contact, not from camera flashes or arena lighting, but from the actual collision itself. This light emission is consistent with matter-antimatter annihilation, suggesting that Roman's spear is somehow accessing energy from parallel dimensions where the laws of physics operate differently. Second, the sound of impact carries frequencies that extend far beyond the normal range of human hearing. Audio analysis reveals subsonic vibrations that match the resonance frequency of tectonic plates, which explains why Roman spears often seem to shake the entire arena structure. He's not just hitting his opponent, he's creating seismic waves that ripple through the Earth's crust. But here's where the story gets really interesting, and this is the part that WWE has been desperately trying to keep secret. That night on SmackDown, when the cosmic beam hit, Roman wasn't being chosen or summoned randomly. He was being recalled. The Galactic Wrestling Federation had been monitoring Earth's wrestling scene for decades, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves to our civilization. They needed a representative who could bridge the gap between terrestrial and cosmic wrestling. It's someone who already understood the principles of universal dominance without being overwhelmed by the scope of intergalactic competition. Roman's entire WWE career had been an extended audition process, with every match serving as a test of his readiness for cosmic responsibility. The Galactic Wrestling Federation operates on principles that make WWE's corporate structure look simple by comparison. They oversee wrestling competitions across 14 different galaxies, each with its own unique gravitational conditions, atmospheric compositions, and species-specific combat techniques. The political dynamics between different alien wrestling cultures are so complex that they require representatives with not just physical prowess, but diplomatic skills that can navigate conflicts between civilizations that have been feuding for millennia. Roman's transformation wasn't random or accidental. The GWF had been subtly preparing him through his entire WWE career, using advanced psychological conditioning techniques that operated below the threshold of conscious awareness. Every championship reign was actually advanced training for intergalactic competition, with each title defense teaching him specific skills he would need when facing opponents with literally otherworldly abilities. Every betrayal and alliance in his storylines was carefully orchestrated to teach him the complex trust dynamics he'd need to navigate between different alien wrestling cultures. The authority figures who tried to hold him back weren't just creating dramatic tension for television. They were unknowingly participating in a cosmic stress test designed to prepare Roman for opponents who would use political manipulation and psychological warfare as readily as physical combat techniques. When Roman emerged from that beam of light, the transformation was immediately apparent to anyone who knew what to look for. He wasn't just Roman Reigns anymore, he was the Galactic Overlord, champion of the Universal Wrestling Federation, defender of the Cosmic Championship that had been defended across 14 different galaxies for over 3,000 Earth years. His new appearance reflected this cosmic evolution, while maintaining the essential characteristics that made him recognizably Roman Reigns. The traditional tribal gear evolved into something that looked like it belonged in the most advanced civilizations across space, incorporating materials that seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal while maintaining the distinctive patterns that connected him to his terrestrial origins. The most striking change was in his eyes. Where once there had been the focused intensity of a professional wrestler, there was now the cosmic awareness of someone who could perceive multiple dimensions simultaneously. When Roman looked at his opponents, he wasn't just seeing their physical form. He was analyzing their molecular structure, their energy patterns, their connection to the fundamental forces that govern reality itself. His voice carried new harmonics that resonated with frequencies from across the electromagnetic spectrum. When he spoke, sensitive individuals in the audience reported experiencing synesthesia, seeing colors that corresponded to his words, feeling vibrations that seemed to originate from inside their own bodies. The phrase "acknowledge me" took on new meaning when delivered by someone whose very presence commanded recognition from the universe itself. But the most significant change was in his wrestling abilities, and this is where the story becomes almost impossible to believe, except that we have video evidence that WWE has been trying to suppress for months. The first indication that something fundamental had changed came during his first match after the transformation. His opponent was John Cena, returning for what everyone assumed would be another classic encounter between the two biggest stars of their respective eras. The build-up followed traditional WWE patterns, respect mixed with competitive tension, references to their shared history, the usual promotional dynamics that fans expected. But when the match began, it became immediately apparent that this wasn't going to be a normal wrestling contest. Roman's movements had acquired a fluidity that seemed to defy the normal limitations of human biomechanics. When he executed a simple collar and elbow tie-up, Cena's expression showed genuine confusion, as if he was grappling with someone whose physical properties had fundamentally changed. The turning point came when Roman delivered his spear. In their previous encounters, Cena had always been able to absorb the impact and continue the match, often using Roman's momentum against him to set up his own offensive sequences. But this time, something unprecedented happened that sent shockwaves through the wrestling world and forced WWE to completely reconsider how they presented their programming. When Roman's spear connected, Cena didn't just get knocked down, he temporarily phased out of this dimension entirely. For exactly 47 seconds, John Cena existed in what cosmic wrestling authorities call the submission void, a parallel reality where defeated opponents experience the full weight of their loss across multiple timeline variations simultaneously. The live audience saw Cena collapse and remain motionless on the mat, but the cameras captured something far more extraordinary. In the broadcast footage, you can see Cena's body flickering between solid and translucent states, as if he was existing in multiple dimensions at once. When he finally rematerialized, he had no memory of the experience, but his wrestling style had permanently changed, incorporating defensive techniques that seemed designed to counter attacks from multiple dimensional angles. WWE management initially tried to downplay the incident, suggesting it was an elaborate special effect that had malfunctioned during execution. They released statements claiming that new holographic technology had been integrated into their production setup and that technical difficulties had created unexpected visual anomalies during the match. But when Roman started displaying abilities that clearly exceeded normal human capabilities in subsequent matches, they realized they had a situation that required completely new storytelling approaches. How do you book matches for someone who can manipulate fundamental forces of the universe? How do you create believable opposition for a character who's literally operating with cosmic power levels that make traditional wrestling psychology irrelevant? The answer came from an unexpected source that changed everything we thought we knew about sports entertainment. The Galactic Wrestling Federation made direct contact with WWE leadership, explaining that Roman's transformation was part of a larger initiative to establish wrestling as the universal language of conflict resolution across all inhabited worlds in the known universe. Instead of wars between planets that could result in the destruction of entire civilizations, The GWF had developed a system where interplanetary disputes would be settled through wrestling matches, overseen by certified cosmic referees, who understood the cultural nuances and combat techniques of hundreds of different species. This revelation opened up storytelling possibilities that WWE had never considered in their wildest creative brainstorming sessions. Suddenly, Monday Night Raw wasn't just taking place in random arenas across America for the entertainment of terrestrial audiences. It was being broadcast to wrestling fans across 17 different solar systems, with alien commentators providing translation and cultural context for species that didn't understand concepts like steel chair shots, ladder matches, or the emotional significance of championship belts. The production challenges were immense. How do you create programming that's entertaining for both human audiences who expect traditional wrestling storylines and alien civilizations whose concept of competition might involve abilities that violate the laws of physics as we understand them? How do you maintain the emotional authenticity that makes wrestling compelling while incorporating elements that are literally out of this world? WWE's creative team had to completely reimagine their approach to storytelling, character development, and match psychology. They brought in consultants from fields that had never been associated with professional wrestling: astrophysicists, xenobiologists, diplomatic specialists who had studied theoretical frameworks for interspecies communication. The result was a new form of entertainment that transcended traditional categories, combining athletic competition with cosmic drama in ways that challenge audiences to expand their understanding of what was possible in both sports and science fiction. And here's the incredible part. You're witnessing the early stages of this transformation right now. Every time you watch WWE programming, you're not just consuming entertainment created for human audiences. You're participating in a cultural exchange program that's introducing Earth to the broader galactic community through the universal language of wrestling. The matches you see on television are being analyzed by alien civilizations who are trying to understand human psychology, our concepts of honor and competition, our emotional responses to victory and defeat. Your reactions, your cheers and boos, of your investment in storylines and characters. All of this is data that's helping to build bridges between Earth and civilizations that are thousands of years more advanced than our own. Roman's role in this cosmic initiative extends far beyond just being a wrestling champion. He's serving as Earth's ambassador to the galactic wrestling community, representing not just WWE or professional wrestling, but humanity itself in competitions that determine how our planet will be perceived by advanced alien civilizations. Roman's first cosmic opponent was announced through channels that bypassed traditional WWE promotional methods entirely. The challenge came directly from the REIGNS system, delivered through quantum communication networks that transmitted the message instantaneously across the 860 light-years that separate Earth from Rigel. The challenger was a 7-foot-tall humanoid creature called the Nebula Destroyer, whose wrestling record included victories over opponents from 12 different star systems and who had never lost a match in over 200 years of intergalactic competition. His signature moves included techniques that manipulated local gravity fields, attacks that operated across multiple dimensional planes simultaneously, and submission holds that could affect an opponent's molecular cohesion. The build-up to this match required WWE to completely reimagine their promotional strategies. How do you create anticipation for a match between an Earth-based performer and someone whose power levels were literally off any scale WWE had ever used? How do you explain to terrestrial audiences that they're about to witness competition that operates according to physics principles that human science is only beginning to understand? The answer was brilliant in its simplicity and revolutionary in its implications. Instead of focusing on traditional wrestling storylines like personal betrayal or championship aspirations, they positioned the match as a test of whether Earth's wrestling culture could compete with the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy. Roman wasn't just representing himself or even WWE, he was representing the entire concept of terrestrial athletics against cosmic competition. The promotional videos featured Roman training in conditions that simulated the gravitational and atmospheric conditions of various alien worlds. Footage showed him practicing his techniques in environments where gravity was 3 times stronger than Earth normal, where the atmosphere was composed of gases that would be toxic to unprotected humans, where the electromagnetic radiation would interfere with normal biological functions. But the most impressive aspect of the promotional campaign was how it educated audiences about the cosmic wrestling community without overwhelming them with concepts that were too advanced for general comprehension. Each promotional segment introduced new ideas about intergalactic competition while maintaining the emotional investment and character development that made WWE programming compelling. The match itself redefined what was possible in professional wrestling entertainment and established new standards for what audiences could expect from sports entertainment in the cosmic age. The Nebula Destroyer's entrance involved materializing directly into the ring through what appeared to be controlled teleportation, but was actually a demonstration of advanced matter-energy conversion technology that allowed him to exist as pure information during transport. Roman's entrance featured him literally descending from the arena ceiling, using what looked like anti-gravity technology, but was actually his newfound ability to manipulate localized gravitational fields through conscious control of his cosmic awareness. The visual effect was stunning. Roman appeared to be walking down invisible stairs made of solidified space-time, each step creating ripples in reality that were visible to the naked eye. When these two forces collided, the result was something that transcended traditional wrestling and became something closer to performance art, mixed with theoretical physics demonstration. The Nebula Destroyer could phase in and out of solid matter at will, making traditional grappling techniques completely useless. Standard wrestling holds simply passed through his body when he chose to exist in a non-corporeal state. Roman responded by using his cosmic awareness to predict where his opponent would rematerialize, allowing him to counter moves that should have been impossible to defend against. He developed new techniques that combined his terrestrial wrestling training with his newly awakened cosmic abilities, creating hybrid maneuvers that worked across multiple dimensional planes simultaneously. The match featured sequences that challenged audiences to expand their understanding of what constituted athletic competition. There were moments when both competitors existed in multiple probability states, executing moves that occurred across several parallel realities before collapsing into a single timeline when the outcome was determined. The climax came when both competitors simultaneously accessed their maximum power levels, creating what cosmic wrestling historians would later classify as the first documented case of interdimensional wrestling. For approximately 90 seconds, the match took place across multiple parallel realities, with the WWE cameras somehow managing to capture footage from 3 different dimensions simultaneously. Roman's victory came through a technique that combined his terrestrial wrestling training with his newly awakened cosmic abilities in a way that demonstrated the unique value that Earth's wrestling culture brought to intergalactic competition. He executed a spear that didn't just impact his opponent in this dimension, but connected across multiple reality layers, effectively ending the match in 4 different universes at the same time. The technique required Roman to simultaneously calculate the quantum probability matrices of multiple timeline variations while maintaining the emotional intensity and physical precision that made his spear devastating in terrestrial competition. It was a perfect fusion of cosmic awareness and human passion that created something entirely new in the universe of wrestling entertainment. The Nebula Destroyer's defeat established Roman as a legitimate cosmic competitor and earned Earth's wrestling culture recognition from the Galactic Wrestling Federation as a valid and valuable contribution to intergalactic athletics. But more importantly, it proved that advanced technology and cosmic awareness weren't enough to guarantee victory, that the heart, passion, and emotional connection that characterize Earth's wrestling culture could overcome even the most sophisticated alien combat techniques. The celebration of Roman's victory brought together representatives from wrestling cultures across 17 different star systems, all acknowledging the new cosmic champion who had demonstrated that Earth deserved a place in the galactic wrestling community. But this was just the beginning of Roman's cosmic journey, and the challenges that lay ahead would test not just his wrestling abilities, but his capacity to serve as Earth's ambassador to civilizations whose concepts of competition and honor operated according to principles that human language didn't have words to describe. But perhaps the most significant aspect of Roman's cosmic transformation was how it enhanced rather than replaced his connection to his terrestrial roots, and the wrestling culture that had shaped him. As Galactic Overlord, he used his position to protect Earth's wrestling culture from cosmic threats while introducing beneficial techniques and perspectives that elevated the entire industry without compromising its essential character. The story of Roman Reigns' transformation from tribal chief to galactic overlord represents the ultimate expression of wrestling as universal entertainment that transcends all boundaries, whether they're cultural, dimensional, or literally astronomical. In the end, Roman didn't just acknowledge his cosmic destiny, he made the entire universe acknowledge him as the true head of the table that spans all of space and time. And that's how Roman Reigns became the most powerful being in the galaxy, while somehow managing to make it all about family, honor, and acknowledging your tribal chief. Because whether you're human or alien, terrestrial or cosmic, everybody eventually acknowledges Roman Reigns. The implications of this story extend far beyond wrestling entertainment. We're witnessing the beginning of Earth's integration into a galactic community that operates according to principles we're only beginning to understand. And Roman Reigns, our tribal chief, our galactic overlord, is leading the way. So, the next time you see Roman Reigns make his entrance, remember that you're not just watching a wrestling superstar. You're witnessing Earth's representative in cosmic competition, our ambassador to civilizations beyond our wildest imagination, the bridge between terrestrial wrestling culture and intergalactic athletics. Hit that like button if this story has changed how you see Roman Reigns forever, subscribe for more cosmic wrestling revelations, and let me know in the comments, are you ready to acknowledge your galactic overlord?